There is a silent move so powerful that it leaves the other person wondering, thinking, and even questioning themselves for days, months, or years after the moment passes. It is the power of walking away. Many mistake walking away for weakness. They assume silence means surrender, or that not engaging means you have no strength. But in truth, walking away, when done with self-respect and wisdom, is one of the most dignified and courageous actions you can take. When someone disrespects you, their goal, whether they know it or not, is often to pull you down to their level. They want to provoke you, to trigger an emotional reaction that gives them control over the situation. They want to see you break your calm, lose your center, and engage in a battle of ego. But here's the thing: your life's purpose, your inner peace, and your energy are far too valuable to waste on battles that have no real prize. Think about it like this: if you're walking down the street on your way to an important meeting and a stray dog starts barking at you from the side of the road, you wouldn't stop your journey to argue with the dog. You wouldn't bark back or try to explain yourself. You would simply keep walking, because your destination matters more than the distraction. This is what walking away from disrespect looks like. It's choosing the road to your destiny instead of the ditch of distraction. In daily life, this can be seen everywhere. Imagine you're in your workplace and a colleague makes a sarcastic remark about your abilities during a meeting. The natural human instinct is to defend yourself, to clap back with something just as cutting. But when you breathe, smile, and simply continue with your work, you send an unspoken message: I am not available for smallness. Later, as your work delivers results and your consistency speaks for itself, that same colleague may feel the weight of their words in a way no argument could have made them feel. Walking away is not about letting people get away with bad behavior. It's about refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing you compromise your peace. The more you react, the more they feed off your energy. The more you stay calm and move on, the less they have to work with. Over time, they realize they cannot control you, and that realization itself is powerful. Even in relationships, whether with family, friends, or a partner, walking away can be a tool of self-respect. Sometimes conversations turn into cycles where no one is listening and only tempers are speaking. In those moments, staying to argue endlessly doesn't lead to understanding. It leads to wounds. But stepping away, not out of anger, but out of self-control, gives both sides time to breathe. And more often than not, the other person begins to see how their tone or words may have crossed the line. Walking away is not a retreat. It's a statement. It says, I value my peace more than proving you wrong. It says, I am not defined by your treatment of me. It says, I know my worth and I do not need to announce it in a battle. And the beauty of this move is that it works in silence. You don't need to make a speech. You don't need to post about it on social media. And you don't need to justify your decision to anyone. People will feel the distance. They will notice the absence of your energy. And if they were in the wrong, that space will give them room to see it more clearly. There's another layer to walking away, that makes it even more powerful. It forces you to focus on you. The moment you choose to step away from negativity, you open up space in your life for growth, healing, and opportunities that would have been blocked if you stayed stuck in someone else's storm. I've seen people transform their lives by simply learning when to step back. An entrepreneur I once knew was constantly criticized by a group of peers who thought his ideas were unrealistic. He could have spent years arguing with them, defending himself, trying to win them over. Instead, he stopped engaging with them entirely and poured all his time into building his vision. Years later, the same people who mocked him were now asking him for advice on how to succeed. He didn't prove them wrong with words. He proved them wrong with his journey. Walking away is like planting a seed of dignity. At first, it looks like nothing happened. You just moved on. But over time, that seed grows into a towering tree of self-respect that everyone can see. And for those who disrespected you, seeing that tree stand tall without them becomes a lesson they will never forget. Of course, walking away requires emotional strength. It's not always easy to hold your tongue when your pride is on the line. But strength is not shown in how loudly you can argue. It is shown in how calmly you can choose your battles. And when your heart is aligned with the wisdom of God, you realize that not every attack deserves a counterattack, and not insult insult deserves your reply. The truth is, the people who try to drag you down are already beneath where you are standing. When you walk away, you are not only protecting your peace, you are protecting your position. Because the higher you climb, the more you must protect your energy. And when you choose to walk away, you show that your vision is bigger than their disrespect. So the next time you face a situation where someone tries to pull you into a fight that is not worth your time, remember this: walking away is not losing, it is leading. It is leading yourself toward a better future, toward a calmer mind, toward a stronger spirit. And one day, those who disrespected you will look back and realize that your silence was not weakness, it was wisdom. And that realization is the loudest answer you could have ever given. There is no answer more undeniable, no reply more powerful than your growth. Growth is a language everyone understands, and it requires no translation. You don't need to raise your voice when your life is already raising its standards. You don't need to explain your worth when your results are speaking louder than words ever could. When someone disrespects you, one of the strongest silent moves you can make is to keep climbing. They expect you to be distracted, to be wounded, to slow down. They might expect you to spend your time and energy proving yourself directly to them. But when you take all that energy and invest it into your own elevation, instead, you change the game. Think about a seed. A seed does not fight with the soil that covers it. It does not argue with the stones in its path. It simply grows slowly, quietly, steadily, until one day it breaks through the ground and stands where everyone can see it. The same is true for you. Your growth may be hidden at first, but when it becomes visible, it commands attention. And the people who doubted or disrespected, you will have no choice but to witness it. In daily life, unstoppable growth takes many forms. Maybe you've been underestimated at work, treated as if your ideas hold no weight. Instead of being consumed by frustration, you decide to sharpen your skills. You take courses, you study, you learn new tools, you volunteer for challenging projects. Months later, you're delivering results that no one else in the room can match. You didn't demand respect. You earned it through undeniable competence, and the ones who once ignored you now find themselves seeking your guidance. Growth is not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about confirming to yourself first that your potential is limitless when you nurture it. This mindset shifts your focus from the pain of disrespect to the power of progress. Because when you're busy becoming better, you don't have time to be bitter. Consider the story of an athlete who was told they were too weak to compete at a high level. Instead of getting lost in arguments or defending themselves to every critic, they put their head down and trained relentlessly. They improved their strength, refined their technique, and built a discipline that became unshakable. When the season came, they didn't just participate, they dominated. The victory wasn't just on the scoreboard, it was in every moment they chose growth over grudges. This principle applies to every area of life: career, relationships, finances, health, personal development. When you elevate yourself, you rise above the level where disrespect can touch you. Like an eagle, you fly so high that the noise of the ground cannot reach your ears. And you do this without announcing every step, without trying to convince anyone along the way. The transformation speaks for itself. The beautiful thing about growth is that it doesn't just make others rethink how they treated you. It also changes how you see yourself. The more you grow, the less you rely on the approval of others, and the more confident you become in your own abilities. This self-assurance radiates in everything you do, creating a presence that demands respect without a single word being spoken. Even in friendships or family circles, unstoppable growth sends a message. Imagine someone doubting your dreams, telling you they're unrealistic or impossible. Instead of trying to win them over with debates, you quietly work toward those dreams. You save money, you learn the skills, you build connections, and you move steadily forward. Years later, when you're living the reality they once mocked, they see clearly that your vision was never the problem. It was their sight that was limited. Growth also has a ripple effect. When people see you transforming your life despite the disrespect you faced, it can inspire them to rise as well. They might think, if they can do it after all that, maybe I can too. Your growth becomes a silent leader, pulling others toward their own potential. That's why elevating yourself is not just a response. It's a contribution to the world around you. But growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires discipline, focus, and a willingness to let go of distractions, including the distraction of trying to make everyone like or respect you. The truth is, not everyone will applaud your progress. Some will feel uncomfortable when you outgrow the box they tried to keep you in. Some will even try harder to pull you back. That's why your commitment to your growth must be stronger than their attempts to stop it. When you keep rising despite the noise, the energy shifts. The people who once underestimated you begin to question their own judgment. They might not say it out loud, but inside, they know they miscalculated. And that knowledge, that silent, private realization, is far more powerful than any confrontation could have been. Your growth is your greatest revenge, but more importantly, it's your greatest gift to yourself. It's the proof that you are not defined by how people treat you, but by how you choose to respond. Every skill you develop, every goal you achieve, every obstacle you overcome builds a legacy that speaks for itself. And the beauty of this legacy is that it doesn't just silence disrespect. It inspires respect from the right people. So, when you face disrespect, don't waste your precious time crafting the perfect comeback. Don't get trapped in battles that distract you from your purpose. Instead, put that energy into becoming better, stronger, wiser. Let your transformation be the conversation. Because while words can be ignored and arguments can be forgotten, true growth is unforgettable. The next time someone underestimates you, smile quietly. Keep working, keep learning, keep building, because one day your progress will stand in front of them like a mirror they cannot look away from. And in that moment, without you saying a single word, they will understand exactly who you are and regret ever treating you otherwise. There's a certain kind of power that doesn't shout, doesn't argue, doesn't chase approval, and yet it commands the room. It is the power of letting your results speak for you. In a world where everyone is trying to prove themselves with words, those who let their work, their achievements, and their consistency speak, instead create an impact that no argument can match. When someone disrespects you, it's tempting to defend yourself immediately, to launch into explanations and justifications. It's tempting to make them see your worth right now. But the truth is, words often get lost in pride, ego, and misunderstanding. People don't always remember what you said, but they never forget what you've shown them. Results have a language that is universal. They are undeniable. They turn doubt into silence and mockery into regret. When you focus on delivering outcomes instead of defending yourself, you shift from explaining your value to demonstrating your value. And demonstration is always stronger than declaration. Think about the workplace. Maybe a coworker questions your ability to lead a project, hinting that you're not experienced enough or not the right fit. You could spend hours trying to convince them otherwise. Or you could simply take the project, work with focus, and deliver something so effective, so polished, and so impactful that even your critics have to acknowledge it. That moment, when they are forced to respect the result, is worth more than any speech you could have given. Letting your results speak also keeps you from getting caught in endless debates. Some people don't actually want to understand you. They just want to win the argument. Words can be twisted, intentions can be misunderstood, but results are facts. You can't argue with them. If your life is producing evidence of discipline, skill, and impact, then you've already said everything that needs to be said without speaking at all. This principle applies in personal life too. Imagine you've been told you'll never make it in a certain field. Friends or family might see your dreams as unrealistic. You could try to make them understand your vision, but often they won't see it until it's real. Instead of wasting energy trying to convince them, you quietly put in the work. Long nights, early mornings, sacrifices that no one sees. And then one day they see your name in a place of honor, your work recognized, your goals achieved. They don't need you to remind them of what they said. They already remember. Results also have a way of